The world held its breath this morning. At precisely 2:17 a.m. Eastern Time, the crimson banner of Iranian state television abruptly cut its regular programming. A senior commander of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, flanked by somber clerics in black robes, appeared on screen. The message he delivered was not just a news bulletin. It was a geopolitical earthquake that sent shockwaves through the intelligence bunkers of Washington, the war rooms of Tel Aviv, and the quiet palaces of the Kremlin. Iran has named its new supreme leader. His name is Mojtaba Khamenei. He is 56 years old. He is the son of the man America and Israel killed 10 days ago. Within hours of assuming the most powerful seat in the Islamic Republic, he delivered a message aimed directly at the United States. While major networks are reducing his address to a single, forgettable headline, what he actually said, the full, untranslated statement, the specific historical language, the words the West wasn't meant to hear, reveals a terrifying roadmap for the next phase of this war. We have been tracking this story since the first strike on February 28th. We have analyzed the intelligence assessments, the IAEA reports, the IRGC communiques, and the leaked transcript of Mojtaba's first national address. What we found in those documents is far worse than any headline you have seen today. Here is exactly what his first message to America said, why the White House went silent the moment they saw it, and why the next 48 hours will determine if this war spirals into a global energy catastrophe. The rise of the ghost. To understand where we are going, you must understand who just took the helm. Mojtaba Khamenei was born on September 8, 1969, in the holy city of Mashhad, while his father, Ali Khamenei, rose from a revolutionary cleric to succeed the Ayatollah Khomeini in 1989. Mojtaba operated in the shadows. While his older brother Mojtaba was often rumored as a successor, Mojtaba was the true unknown quantity. He studied theology at the most conservative seminaries in Qom, institutions known for their radical rejection of the West. He never held a press conference. He never held public office. Iranian opposition groups chillingly referred to him as the ghost who runs everything. For decades, he controlled significant sections of the IRGC's intelligence apparatus. He wielded direct influence over the Basiji militia, the paramilitary force responsible for brutally crushing the 2009 Green Movement protests. By every account from those who have studied the regime's inner sanctum, he is significantly more radical than his father. Now, on day 10 of the war that America started by decapitating the regime has struck back. Not with a missile, but with a succession that consolidates power more effectively than any strike could. The 10-day war, a timeline of escalation. Here is how we arrived at this precipice. February 28, 2026, Day 1. The United States and Israel launch Operation Epic Fury. In a coordinated blitz, over 2,000 targets inside Iran are struck. A precision strike on Tehran kills Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei, the man who ruled Iran for 37 years. The world goes into immediate shock. March 1st, 4th, days 2 to 5, Iran retaliates. Hundreds of drones and ballistic missiles slam into American military bases across the Gulf, Qatar, Bahrain, the UAE, Kuwait, Iraq. 6 U.S. service members are killed in the first wave. Oil spikes past $100 a barrel for the first time since 2022. March 5th, 7th, days 6 to 8. President Trump demands Iran's unconditional surrender. Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi refuses, stating Iran is confident it can repel a full-scale U.S. ground invasion. The war widens as Iran strikes civilian infrastructure in Gulf states, including Bahrain's desalination plant. March 8, 2026, Day 9. President Trump issues an extraordinary ultimatum. Khamenei's son is unacceptable to me. The next Iranian leader will not last long without my approval. It is a direct attempt by a sitting U.S. president to dictate the leadership of a foreign nation. March 9, 2026, Day 10, today. Defying Trump entirely, Iran's Assembly of Experts convenes and selects Mojtaba Khamenei. The IRGC pledges allegiance before the civilian government even has a chance to react. By morning, oil soars another 12%, and the 7th American soldier is confirmed dead. The evidence. What the new leader actually said. The mainstream coverage has failed to connect 3 critical pieces of information. 1. The full inaugural address. Most outlets reported a sanitized version of Mojtaba's first speech. The full transcript, verified by independent Persian-language journalists, contains a specific Farsi phrase that translates to, a slap to America's face that history will remember. He did not just promise resistance. He declared victory in the first 10 days of the war. He listed the victories: the killing of American soldiers, the disruption of Gulf oil infrastructure, and the forced evacuation of U.S. diplomats. Then he delivered the kicker. Iran will stand firm against Western aggression until its final demand is met. What is that final demand? The complete and unconditional withdrawal of all American forces from the entire Middle East. Read that again. That is not a negotiating position. That is a declaration of war aims. 2. The IRGC's energy war. Warning. Hours after the confirmation, senior IRGC Commander Ibrahim Zulfikari issued a direct warning to every Gulf Arab state hosting American assets. Regional American allies must stop the United States or face further reprisals. He then added a sentence that should terrify every market analyst: an energy war is on the table. In the context of the Persian Gulf, energy war means one thing: the Strait of Hormuz. 20% of the world's daily oil supply passes through this narrow choke point. If Iran closes it, Brent crude doesn't just stay at $100. The models from every serious energy economist project $140 to $180 per barrel, translating to $7 to $9 per gallon at American pumps within 30 days. 3. The constitutional heresy. This is the detail buried in paragraph 12 of most profiles. Mojtaba Khamenei is not an ayatollah. The entire framework of the Islamic Republic, Wilayat al-Faqih, requires the supreme leader to be the highest religious authority. Mojtaba never achieved this rank. This means the IRGC has just installed a supreme leader who technically violates the regime's own constitution. This tells you who really controls Iran, not the clerics, but the IRGC. The most radical military force in the Middle East has just completed a hostile takeover of the government in the middle of a war with the United States. The man in charge owes his position entirely to the generals who want to fight. The other side, is there an off-ramp? We must present the counter-argument. Some analysts argue this could create a bizarre opening, a blank slate. Mojtaba has no public record. A leader with no embarrassing speeches to defend might find it easier to negotiate secretly. IRGC control. If the IRGC wants the war to stop, they can order it. A supreme leader who is their creature can authorize a ceasefire without it looking like a political capitulation. Economic pain. The war is destroying Iran's civilian infrastructure. Internal pressure for peace is real. The declare victory option. As Jonathan Panikoff of the Atlantic Council noted, Trump could declare victory in Iran today. The nuclear sites are damaged. The regime was decapitated. Declaring success creates a political space to stop, but these are theoretical. The man who just became supreme leader spent his opening moments counting American body bags as victories. That is not the language of a man preparing to talk. The geopolitical chess move everyone missed. While the world focused on Tehran, something else happened this morning. Iran's foreign minister issued a statement accusing the United States of wanting to partition the country and take its oil. This is not a random taunt. It is a calculated message to China and Russia. It frames the U.S. war not as a non-proliferation effort, but as a colonial land grab. Furthermore, reports indicate Mojtaba's first communication was not his public address. It was a private message delivered to Beijing and Moscow. He activated his alliance before he spoke to his own people. By staying silent today, China and Russia have signaled they are not abandoning Tehran. That silence is a form of endorsement that could deter further U.S. escalation. What happens to you? This is not abstract geopolitics. This is your wallet, your gas tank. The national average was $3.18 before the war. It is already higher. If Hormuz is threatened, $7 gas is a mathematical certainty. Your 401k. An energy shock of this magnitude will unleash global inflation. Supply chains will freeze. A short-term spike in energy stocks will be wiped out by a broader market recession. Your security: 7 American families have already received the knock on the door. 40,000 U.S. personnel are stationed in the region. This war is no longer a conflict. It is a war with a body count rising daily. The next 72 hours, what to watch. We are in the most dangerous phase of this crisis. Tonight, Mojtaba's formal address to Parliament. This will be his first full policy statement. Tomorrow, Secretary of State Marco Rubio meets with Netanyahu in Tel Aviv. Are the U.S. and Israel on the same page? Wednesday, the UN Security Council meets. Watch China's language. Will they call it aggression? Friday, the CTBTO releases seismic data on a suspected Iranian nuclear test from 8 months ago. If confirmed, the justification for the war changes. Conclusion: the ghost takes control. On day 10 of a war launched to change the Iranian regime, the regime has not changed. It has hardened. It has appointed a more radical leader. The IRGC has tightened its grip. The new supreme leader's first act was a declaration of war aims, and the American president, who said this new leader was unacceptable, has responded with 4 words: "We'll see what happens." That is not a strategy, that is a prayer. And in the next 48 hours, as Iran's new ghost makes his move, we will find out if anyone is listening. We will continue to monitor this story minute by minute, refresh for updates.